With the 24th pick, the Dallas Cowboys select.
All right, bro. What is up tonight, everybody in the house? I got my special guest here, longtime friend, online and offline, Footsdaking. What's going on, bro?
Joe Rizzy. What do you do, babe?
What's up, bro?
How you feel?
It's good, man. We are on the homeward stretch. We're on the homeward stretch, bro. So it's been a long off season. A lot of interesting stuff going on in Cowboys land. It's never a dull moment, but this could be the time when Super Bowl aspirations are reignited.
Listen, not only are Super Bowl aspirations reignited, but this could be the time where I think people jump. I won't say back on the bandwagon, Joe, but people kind of say, all right, we have hope again. Because right now, Stephen Jones is the worst GM in the league. Jerry Jones the worst owner. We made no moves, and people just aren't happy.
Yeah. No, there's no doubt about that, right? It's been one hell of a ride going back to the way the season ended. Lots of roster churning going on with the Cowboys, and we're gonna try to break it down for you guys. Foots and I, we're gonna look at number 24. What would we do? And what might Dallas do? Okay, two different things. It always is, right? So we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about some of the names, maybe some names that people need to get ready for, right? Yeah. But Foots, appreciate you joining tonight, man. It's a Cowboys Huddle Redux remix. It's good to have you in the house, bro.
Joe, it's crazy. I found myself going back to the old huddles. They're still on iTunes if anybody just wants some nostalgia. Kind of really how long we've been in the game Joe, and covering players and doing this type of stuff, and I won't say it gets easier every year, but we do a great job, I will say, and you first of all of pegging the visits, like knowing the names before Draft Cowboys Twitter and Draft Cowboys YouTube was a thing. It was me and Joe, and I think you do a great job of pegging the visits, knowing the names, and kind of having a beat on what this team wants to do. And so while you're saying thank you to me, thanks, Joe, for all the work you do. Seriously.
Oh, I appreciate that. Appreciate that very much, bro. Yeah, that means a lot to me. And you guys are in for a treat tonight. Shout out to everybody in the chat box joining us live right now. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys pound the like button and subscribe if you haven't already, because when Foots and I get together, it's a good time. The time will fly. By the time we finish, we'll be like, damn, that hour went by like that,
Yeah.
So let's get right into it, man. It's we're days away now. We've gone from months to days, right? And has there been any clarity for you, for that number 24 pick, or is it still kind of wide open? Usually by this time in past drafts, we've kind of gotten a little bit better focus. How do you feel where we're at right now?
So, Joe, I've been hearing a lot of Kenyon Green. The problem is that I think that if he's there, that's who they will take. I've heard that from sources in and out the organization, and that's kind of where I feel like Dallas wants to go. However, I think that the league may know that, and so is that a smokescreen, Joe? At 24, you have no idea. For me, if you're wiped out of the guards, I don't want to do the whole reach on Bernard Raymond or reach on one of these lesser tackles that may need work when you have a Devin Lloyd staring you in the face, or you have a Nakobe Dean staring you in the face, or how much do you like the pass rushers?
Yeah.
And so I guess what I'm trying to say is, in that, Joe, at 24, do you have names pegged? Yeah. But the truth is, at 24, you're at the mercy of the board.
Yeah. The board, and it always shapes up in the crazy way, right? You see second rounders move in the first round, and then fans, they lose their mind, And for the Cowboys, I always in more recent years have gone by. If they're talking about the player too much, it won't be that guy. It's gonna be the guy that's not talked about as much. And you bring up Devin Lloyd, I think is a good example, right? That's kind of equivalent to Micah Parsons last year, where yeah, Micah was a visit last year, virtual. They didn't have the 30s last year, but we knew the Cowboys had interest, right? We know the Cowboys have interest in Devin Lloyd, but the focus right now is still the guards, the guards, the guards. I don't want to hear about anything else, right? So that's how it goes, right, Foot? So could it be Devin Lloyd? Could it be, a wide receiver that not enough people are talking about? Could it be, you know, Drake London? You had that in your last mock, which I thought was very interesting for us because, I think he could go anywhere from early to the bottom here. I think the ankle and some of his durability will. It depends. What do you trust that ankle? Do you trust the durability? Will he fall? Could he be there? You know what I mean?
Well, Rick Spillman came out today, Joe. Did you see that?
I didn't see that.
So Rick Spillman, guys, comes out today and basically says Drake London sucks, and for lack of a better word, which I thought was kind of Bush League. Him being a former GM, I didn't like that, Joe. And I don't know if they're trying to get Drake London. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if Minnesota or anybody has him. But the point is, I know he used to be with Minnesota. I don't know where he is now, but he has a name, and it was, he's saying all these things, but when he watches film, Drake London doesn't separate. And I'm like, okay, yeah, Drake London doesn't separate. That's not his game. He catches everything in his strike area, in his strike zone. He's a huge target in the red area. It's how do you use him? He's a slant guy. He's over the middle. If he has a free release, he's a big slot. Is he going to run past you? Probably not. Is he a tough son OB? Yes, he is. And so how do you use him? Do you have a plan for this guy? We've seen that, Dan Quinn has a plan for athletes. And I don't know if Kellen Moore is on that same level of a Dan Quinn as far as design. But I do know this. Mike McCarthy should take hold of this offense if he's on the verge of losing his job or whatever the case may have. I see what Mario Flores is saying is Rick is no longer GM. Right. I know Rick's no longer a GM, but he's a trusted voice that was once in the league. The point is, yes, when you hear these things come out about the separation, about this, that, and the third, right. He didn't run a 40. London didn't. If he's staring you in the face and you have a need a receiver, I'm drafting Drake London because he can help this team. He's better than Michael Gallup. Okay, he is. He does some things better than CeeDee Lamb. And so you need a red zone target. You need a guy who's listen, for everybody who has a problem with Drake London, go watch the Utah game. He has 16 catches. He's physical. He's hard to bring down. I think it's Bush League. And then even people like Jose Christian, and I'm not attacking your chat box, Joe, but he's saying, Devin Lloyd is 4.71. Well, he plays faster than that. Okay. And I don't need my linebacker to be fast in a straight line. I need him to diagnose and have good instincts. And that's what Devin Lloyd has. So I just say that to say, Joe, like every year we see it and a good player will fall to us. But it was interesting to me that maybe London does fall and this team has a need a receiver.
Oh yeah. There's no doubt about it. I think, fans would get upset if they didn't see a wide receiver early. You know what I mean? Like if you do a mock and you don't have a receiver until you get to the 5th, I think fans would be like, "Hey, where's the high end receiver?" Right? How I feel about this draft is like, a lot of the pundits and everything say it's very deep, and while it is very deep, right? To me, it always comes down to what is the quality of that depth. Like yeah, it's deep, but a difference between a Velus Jones Jr. out of Tennessee versus Chris Olave, it's a night and day difference. You know what I mean? So it is deep. Like you can get him, right? You can get the Tennessee wide receiver, but he's almost 25 or 20. I mean, he's super old, like it's crazy, but he's a really good playmaker.
Mm-hmm.
He's a really good player. So, it's all about, to me, like, where do you grab these receivers? Do you even think about double dipping at wide receiver? You and I talk about this, Foots, about Mike McCarthy. He worked really well with that Green Bay front office in getting good quality receivers outside the first round. So I'm wondering if that's more of his target, because that's kind of been his pattern. You know what I mean? So is second round and third round more likely for receiver? I wonder. But Foots, I
Well,
want to.
and the truth is, Joe, who's
Yeah,
the names? Like who are you trading away from?
yeah,
Okay. If you're looking at a receiver, right?
yeah,
And let's say you're looking at guard. Okay. If you want to draft a receiver at some point, doggone it, Joe, it better be in that second round because it starts to look different in the third and fourth round as far as a guy who can come in and help instantly.
right,
You know,
exactly.
the
Yeah,
one that's very interesting to me is Jalen Tolbert, South Alabama receiver. Has the traits, decent size, has the speed in Watson. But will they be there in the third round? Probably not.
yeah.
So it's like that combination of linebacker, guard, receiver. When do you pick what? Because if not, you're going to get wiped out as something else.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's no doubt. Yeah, I think the receivers, you got to go. You got to go pretty damn early. You know what I mean? Like, so it's gonna be interesting to see what they do with that. And do the Cowboys feel like it is a need for them? I think from fans, we see Amari Cooper gone. We see, CeeDee Lamb. I think a lot of us are confident he's going to hold it down. But then outside that, Gallup won't be back for a couple of games. So you have James Washington, who, we think, can hold it down. But it's a little bit of a projection, right?
What does Simi Fayoko do for the chat box or for you, Joe?
And that's another good question, right? Like, where is he in his development? You know what I mean? Is this going to be another one of these, he has potential, the potential, right? Like, at some point, it's got to be, it's got to actually happen on the field. You know what I mean? I think he'll definitely get the opportunity. Des Bryant, definitely speaking on his behalf, saying that he's gonna be something. So, we'll see about that. But I definitely, wouldn't rest my laurels on these guys. Like, I wanna add another body in here, maybe two. I would like to get, maybe you're another, down the field guy. Maybe we need more speed. I feel like, you know what I mean, and a solid slot guy would be good. Like a Cole Beasley, a Henfro type of guy. I think would be perfect for Dak Prescott. And what the Cowboys need to do. You know what I mean. So they can get themselves a good little slot guy out of this thing. Maybe like a Slade Bolden late, but you do draft the premier guy early. I think you're kicking some ass here.
Anybody but Sky Moore. Yeah, I just think Cowboys fans are went a little crazy with the whole Sky Moore just the hype. It's just kind of silly to me.
Well, and the thing about it, Foots, is like, I think he's a good prospect, but at the end of the day, the Cowboys are just super, into the measurables. The metrics have to hit the marks. That's why Linderbaum, as much as a lot of us like Linderbaum, those arms, the short, that's probably they're scratching them off the list. You know what I mean? Just what they do. That's what the Cowboys are about,
Yeah. And it's why they love also his size. He's not really a big guy. When you look at Green, I think they love Green so much is because Green meets those measurables. And I was watching Green today. I said, let me go back and I watched him very early on in the process, and then I went back and watched Green. Green will be a very good pick for the Cowboys. Like, I would sleep very good at night. He could come in and play tackle, Joe. He could. I know he's not 6'5", but, you watch him against some of those Alabama DNs, and it's like they try to bull rush him, they couldn't. They try to get around him, they couldn't. Like, I know people may have Zion Johnson rated higher, but I was looking at Kenyon Green like, I don't know. Like, he moves people in the run game. Kenyon Green moves people, Joe. He does.
And this is a great conversation for us. I've been wanting to talk to you about this. I just feel that the Cowboys see Zion as more as a center. You know
Yes.
what I mean? Somebody that's, they talk about he's very cerebral, Travis Frederick type of guy, right? That you want to spearhead this thing, very athletic, can move and get, can block, right? So I think they see more Travis Frederick traits in him than they do like a Ron Leary guard or somebody like like a legit stout mauler. I don't think he's that. So when I think about that, I think he might be there. You know what I mean? Because a lot of teams were working him out in the pro day, private workouts at center. So I think they are looking at him more. And at the Senior Bowl, he got center slots, right? So
And did well.
yeah. So that's interesting there. So for me, Foots, I think a true guard in the first at 24, if he's there, is Kenyon Green. Yeah. Like a pure guard type of player. So I want to ask you this, Foots. How would you feel about instant double dipping on the O line? First round, and then boom, second round, another guy,
Well, it will tell me two things. Dallas is going to get back to Dallas Cowboys football, which is running the ball, which I have no problem with. I actually believe that trends are real. And I think while this is a pass-happy league, the teams that make true efforts to run the ball, San Francisco, Tennessee, the Ravens, they're always in the thick of things, always.
Yeah.
And, not a fake effort, but a real effort to run the football. And so in that, Joe, I believe that if Dallas were to do that, I wouldn't be mad. Like if they went like, are you saying like Cole Strange and Green or something like that, Joe?
But yeah, let's break it down. Shout out to Donnell Jenkins first, man. Shout out, bro. Thank you for being a loyal subscriber, channel member, man. You've been here for a long, long time. Shout out to Donnell, man.
What's up, Donnell?
Yeah. So let's look at that scenario, right? You go. Let's say it's Green at 24. Probably a guard. Or maybe like you said, a tackle. So you go Green in the first tackle. Who are the names that you would probably be thinking about there?
So if I were to go tackle, are you talking about in the second or?
Yeah.
So are you talking about double dipping back to back?
Back to back. Yeah.
So let me be clear, Joe. I don't think that that's good about this, the title of that show. Joe, I don't think that Dallas would do that. But if they did, Joe, what does Abraham Lucas do for you? Abe Lucas, I talked about him in my mock.
Yeah.
Joe, it's like, hey, you get your guard, you get your tackle for the next 5, 7 years, 10 years, whatever. If there are guys, I think Lucas has some ability to grow, but I also think he could come in and be a swing guy and then continue to trend up. Falele, what does Falele do for you, Minnesota tackle?
I think he's just too big. I think the weight management, I don't think the Cowboys want to screw with that. They kind of had that with Dial. I think they're done. Philbin's probably like, now get that weight. I don't think he'll be in play for the Cowboys. Could be wrong, but I don't think they.
What does the Ohio State tackle do for you, Joe?
Nicholas?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good name, right?
And he, if you went Green and Nicholas, you can figure that out because both of them have that flex. I actually like Nicholas as a guard too. I think he's a good run mauler type of guy. Has that wide body. So, but you could kick him out at tackle, and he will play. Whatever tackle they draft, if it's early, they will play. We know Tyron's not going to play in the preseason. He's not, right? That rookie's going to get his snaps. And maybe he gets cut. I mean, fans maybe don't want to hear it, but dude, these guys are churning the hell out of this offensive line. They really are. But even let's just say, Tyron does stay on. We know he's going to miss time, so that guy is going to play, and he'll be the future. So those are two names as well. I like Sean Ryan as well from UCLA.
That's the one, Joe, that I got to watch more of. I watched 2 games, and I want to find more film. I like that kid, boy. Woo.
Yeah, he's a big guy to move, man. I wouldn't
He,
say he's
he's
the most.
he has better feet than I thought.
Yeah, he's got that trunk, man. He looks like a defensive tackle. That that bottom half, right? So there's a lot of power in there. To move the chains. So
Joe guys has said this about Tyron Smith for 3 years now, and it's been true every year. This isn't your grandfather's Cowboys anymore. Zeke won't be on this team, I'm pretty sure, in the next 2 years, next year. People don't want to hear this, but the quarterback, they're going to have eyes on the quarterback this year. They're going to turn this roster, like Joe said, especially if, they go all on the draft or they make a trade up or something crazy happens and they feel like the team, like Dallas, Jerry Jones came out this year and said he felt like the team was good enough to win, at least to make it to the NFC Championship.
Yeah. Ball, yeah. See, the thing is about Josh Ball, it's still a question. His thing has been the strength, right? They want to get his strength up, and that's a question. You know what I mean? There's players in here that are ready to play outside of Josh Ball's a 4th rounder, right? Out of Marshall, Florida State. I think he has potential, but maybe they're looking at more of him as a swing kind of guy. So I'm not. I'm definitely not overlooking. Yeah, at Soup Trap, this is great. The O-line got destroyed in the playoffs. They're gonna want to. And dude, you hit that on the head. Tyron looked really bad against not even Nick Bosa in that game. It was scary bad how he looked. So
that is a great point, Joe. That even I do a good job of. I pride myself on not getting too high, too low, and it was bad. Like that D-line played on the other side of the ball. And I know San Francisco is coached up, and even when they had Saleh, obviously Saleh's in with the Jets now, but that D-line is good. But, I mean, come on. Like, Dak was under duress. I don't think Kellen Moore helped him at all with the play calling, but the truth is we just weren't strong enough up front. I thought that I really thought that Connor Williams, and that's why he's gone, looked weak. And I just think that, honestly, the left side of the line was awful.
Yeah, that left side killed us. It really did.
Yeah, so I think coming back to it, like you said, Joe, double dipping at offensive line, would it be sexy? No. Would it make a lot of sense? Yep.
Oh yeah, yeah, and honestly, no. To your point too, Foots. Like maybe it's not 1st and 2nd round, but maybe it's 1st and 3rd.
1st and 3rd.
What I mean? That would probably be more possible, right? I mean, that's possible for sure. So, let's talk about the 2nd round, Foots. We hit up on 24. Let's talk about the 2nd round a little bit more. It's the roll the dice round, right? It's the Cowboys roll the dice round. Players with medicals, players with some off-field issues, and this sorts of things. Who are those types of guys for you in the 2nd round where you're like, man, the Randy Gregory's or these types of players? Are the Cowboys out on these players after what happened with Kelvin Joseph, or are these types of players still on the board for the Cowboys, you think, for the 2nd round? And who would they be in your opinion, Foots?
So, first and foremost, Joe, we always love to give ourselves our kudos. We had reserves about Joseph. We did. You and I both. And it didn't take long. And I'm hoping that it's not this. I'm hoping that he gets a get out of jail free card, Joe. I'm hoping. Mm-hmm. But the truth is, for a second there, I was like, dog, we better start looking at corners here. But let's hope that that's not real. And but the name for me is Mechie, John Mechie, or the DN from my guy from Michigan. Those are the two that if they're just hanging around, that Dallas may say, you know what, we can stay patient and we can go get this guy. The thing with Mechie that I love, Joe, and I'm looking at my notes here, the thing that I love with Mechie is, you talk about a slot guy, Joe, right? You talk about a guy, Cobb, just knows areas on the field, just knows how to make people miss, just knows sweet spots.
Oh yeah.
We're talking John Mechie. The injury concern is real. But if you can wrap your head around it, he's staring at you and you still have a need. And like you said, that Cole Strange or one of these tackles with Let's Go or somebody that you want to up the offensive line or do whatever you need to do, maybe you do it, Joe, right? And then with a Jabo, listen, if Dallas wanted to pick a Jabo and put him on ice, I would have no problem with that. See what Fowler and the guys give you. You let a Jabo come along, and if he turns into something, you look like a genius. I don't think his injury is as vicious as Jalen Smith.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
the Smith deal was you had a dude who literally didn't know if he was going to walk again to he played football, but it's clear he shouldn't have been out there. And was an inspiration to a lot of people, but the truth is, Jalen probably has played his last snap in the league.
Yeah.
That he played with Green Bay. And I love that guy.
Let me get your opinion on a couple of other ones too, Foots. I think you could throw in the mix. Sam Williams, obviously. I don't have him graded as a second. But
me either. That's why I didn't bring him up.
Yeah, no, for the Cowboys, I think this would be one of those guys that they might do a second round because it's the Cowboys. I'm trying to think, what are the Cowboys? What is their trend? What have they done before? It happens all the time. We pick some players and the fans, we could have had him 2 rounds later. We overdrafted this guy. And so I'm thinking Sam Williams, he has the off-field. How would you feel about Sam Williams? Are you comfortable with this issue? Do you think he could develop into something? Would you hate that pick? Or would you
the off-field scares me, Joe, with Williams. No. And then I also don't know if he's that good.
No.
I didn't see it. I'm not really a huge fan of the film. That's why I have him as a 3rd-round player.
That's where I have him too. I have him in the 3rd. I think that the fans just fall in love when they see Dan Quinn running drills. Like, oh, that's in. That's the pick.
Yeah.
Right. So he's one. Soup Trap mentioned another one, Foots, who I think could be available in the 2nd. That's Pickens. What do you think about George Pickens, the wide receiver out of Georgia?
My only issue with Pickens is I haven't seen enough of the production.
Right. Yeah.
Didn't play a lot. I see a nasty player, but it's like, how good is he really as a receiver?
Yeah, exactly. And we've always thought the injury guys in the injury guys in college usually are the injury guys in the pros, right? That's always been like the saying. So when you get a guy like that, I think that's why I think some of these guys might fall. Like a Drake London, there's going to be teams that pass on him because of the durability question. Same with Pickens. So, you might get one of these guys land in your face. Like, I don't know if some people think Pickens will make it to 56. I think he will myself. No. If it's Pickens or Mechie, I would take Mechie. I think he's a great route runner.
Same.
I think, you get him on the field and you're going to reap some rewards. You know what I mean? And that's an injury that he'll bounce back from, So, yeah, those are some other names.
Same. Yeah, I like Mechie more than Pickens. I think with Pickens too. Now I won't fault him for his quarterback play, but I just don't know. Like, I can't point to a trait and say, hey, what is he great at?
Right. That's a great way to look at Pickens on that. Right. Like, is he just a pure possession, jump ball guy, or what? And that's kind of one dimensional to me. So. Do you want to spend a high pick like for a player like that? I don't know. Primetime Phil with the super chat, keep kicking ass. Cap mode to Foots. Thanks for holding it down the offseason. Thanks, guys. Yeah, Primetime Phil, longtime subscriber, member of the channel. Appreciate you, Primetime Phil. Appreciate that very much, bro. Thanks for. I always see Primetime Phil in the chat box holding it down. You know, getting busy there with everybody in the chat box. I appreciate you, Primetime. Let's see here. Foots, I want to talk to you about some players here. Like I said, we want to talk about players that are not getting enough, discussion that could surprise Cowboys fans. Do you have a couple of those types of guys on your board?
I got 3 names, Joe. So it's crazy. I got Arnold Ebiketie.
Okay.
I got Trevor Penning. And I have Bernard Raymond. I think that, and I've already went Jahan Dotson. So I kind of like beat that dead horse. I love Jahan Dotson. If Dallas drafted him, they really want to go to receiver route and really get a route runner and a do-it-all guy, somebody who's going to come in and just, he was a captain at Penn State. He was all Penn State. Everything that Penn State had, it was Jahan Dotson. I love him, Joe. Trevor Penning, if he falls, I don't know if Dallas would love him mauler, but I think that they would say he's too good to not pick, and we need offensive line help. And I think that they would use him as a guard early on, let him play forward, and then when Travis Frederick lays down, when Tyron Smith lays down, then he would go to left tackle or right or whatever. They would have to make it work. And then again, with Bernard Raymond, I don't love the player, but I think Dallas does. Was he a 30-day, Joe? Was he a 30 visit?
Yeah, 30 days.
He was a visit, man. And I think that they see Senior Bowl guy. I think they see the upside and they say, "Hey, look what we did with Terrence Steele," which I will give Dallas credit for every Chaz Green. Terrence Steele, I was watching some film the other day. Terrence Steele, the back half of the season was one of our best offensive linemen and our best tackle, for sure. Consistent, very consistent in the run game, mauling. And that's why I was like, when people were saying, Foots, you think that Terrence Steele is better than Lyle Collins? Yeah. Like, he played better the back half of the season, yes.
Yeah, he honestly did. He
did. And you're listening. Me and Joe didn't like Terrence Steele. Like we didn't like him. So we were for sure wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt, man. But he put in the work. He put in the work with Duke Manyweather and reshaped himself, got stronger, did everything that you want your linemen to do in the offseason. You don't want them showing up out of shape. You don't want to have to deal with that. You know what I mean? And
yeah, Lyle Collins took a whole he had a whole year out of shape. He didn't play because he was fat. Like, what are we talking about?
That's wild, bro. That's wild, isn't it?
A whole year.
Yeah, man, it's crazy.
Yeah,
I like the one that you're talking about there. It's about Bernard Raymond. I think that they like the athleticism. You know what I mean? Some people will bring up the age and this sort of thing, but I mean, that's not a big deal in this day, especially for a lineman, because a lineman, you're going to get 10 and 12 years out of the guy, right? So that doesn't really bug me in that part. Strong, I think he put up like, what, 28 or 30 reps or something on the
225, yeah.
That's what you want. You don't want a Connor Williams, 15 reps or whatever whatever it was, bro. So that, I think that's one that if you take him at 24, some fans will be like, that's a reach. But what would be lovely, which would be freaking amazing, bro, is if you get a call and you can move down and pick up another third or fourth.
Yeah, because at 24, like, let's be honest, depending on who you ask, in this draft, I only have really, Joe, 23 first-round grades, 24 first-round grades, and they're not all at our position. Like, some guys are like a 1-1-2, like Dax Hill, he's a 1-1-2. Petrie's 1-2. Bernard Raymond is 1-2. Tyler Smith is 1-2. So that's where you start getting where it's like, hey, if I don't think I'm gonna have a chance at this guy, and I need the position, and I'm wiped out, and I know that I'll have some of these other guys, these linebackers, these receivers, these guards, whatever I'm trying to attack in the later parts of the draft. That's where I'm going to do what I'm gonna. I hate to say it, overdraft, or Dallas can do the smart thing because if you're playing the numbers, you may have your best player available and you may need to take that guy. But I don't know if Dallas would do that, Joe. That's the interesting part that we don't know.
Yeah, and that's what's going to be interesting about this first round is like where does Zion and where does Green go? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Old linemen, premium positions. You know what I mean? Guards too. You know we've seen guards go relatively high in the sweet spot in the teens. You know, so I try not to get fixated on Green and Zion because I feel like they may not be there, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're not there, but I wouldn't be surprised if they are there. Where it's gonna get interesting is if they are there, and the Cowboys shock the world and just draft somebody else. You know what I mean? So it could be. I mean, I know fans would just be livid probably if Green was there, Zion was there, Raymond was there, and they took Raymond. You know what I mean? Right? Like,
They're
to
ready.
be honest, like, there's a lot of fans that I mean, some fans just absolutely hate Raymond for sure. I think he's good. I think he can give you some youth there, something that you need. You need tackle, and they're gonna play. So
Damn, Joe, we've been doing this so long. Remember when we had who was our linebacker from Alabama? We just knew they were going there, and that's when
Van Der Esch?
they went Van Der
Oh,
Esch.
you're talking about Rashawn
Yeah,
Evans, right?
Rashawn Evans, dude. We were high on Rashawn Evans, who
Dude, that
hasn't been a bad player for
nah,
Titans. He's been pretty good, yeah.
he was so solid at Alabama. I just love the way he played, man.
The physical downhill linebacker.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
adds to that Titans defense, or I think he has. I'm sure Chatbox will let us know if he's been good, but I know he was in the league.
Yeah. I think
Probably the same career arc as Van Der Esch.
I think it was. I think they passed on the fifth year, same as Van Der Esch, and I think both of them did like 1 year deals this year or something. Like
yeah,
it's kind of like pick your flavor. Cowboys wanted the bigger linebacker at the time. The neck was and I'll never forget. Mayock brought up the neck issue. Oh no, we'll be okay. What was it? A year or two late? The next year, wasn't it? Like,
here had a great rookie.
yeah,
Had a great rookie year and fell off a cliff, like
I-
literally off a cliff.
yeah.
But it goes back to what I've been saying, Joe. It's crazy. Everybody talk. I think it's so funny. Everybody talks about how the running back position has changed, Joe.
Here we go. Let's talk about
Nobody
this.
talks about how the linebacker position has changed.
Bro, let's talk running backs because Stephen Jones, and then some people may agree with him. I don't. So Stephen Jones came out 105.3 The Fan said we have a strong running back room. Tony Pollard, Ezekiel Elliott, Rico Dowdle. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I've been very adamant how much I love Hassan Haskins. If he said,
What round is a sweet spot for Haskins Foots for you?
dude, he's a third round talent, but backs don't.
Yeah,
Backs are a 4-year position now, so now they get drafted around later.
that's good value, great value though, right? So
I had somebody tell me that Haskins wasn't good, and I said, "Wait a minute, whoa, time out. Did you watch the Ohio State game? He took the game over.
yeah,
I think he is how you need to use him. He's downhill. He can finish games. He lowers the boom. He's smart. Um, I like Hassan Haskins a lot.
yeah, and that's somebody that they met with. That met with not a 30 visit, but they did meet with him. So there's interest there, right? Um, yeah, running back to me, Foots, I think would you know, probably fourth round would be the opening, round for me to maybe start considering one. That might be even a little high, but all those fifth rounders for me scream grab one of these guys, and Haskins I think falls in that category. That I think the running backs is truly deep. Like when they say deep, I think you can grab somebody that can be impactful for you, in a fourth, fifth round type of guy.
Well, Joe, think about it. You have to get a jump on life without Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah.
And you can't wait until you're forced to draft that guy, to me.
Yeah.
Because if you can get Abram Smith.
Yeah. Abram Smith, I think Abram Smith is a he kind of fits that type of running back style, physicality that I think McCarthy likes. When you think about the guys that McCarthy had with the Packers, like Aaron Jones, some of these other physical type of running backs, to set the tone. You have a good offensive line, a strong running back core. So when Stephen Jones mentioned this, like I love Tony Pollard. This is a contract year for Tony Pollard. Zeke, we all know this is probably it for him, right? Is he going to play 17 games? Probably not. Not with that knee, right?
Yeah.
Rico Dowdle doesn't stay healthy. Let's be real. The guy is always hurt. So
he used to be a linebacker at Baylor. In his senior year, they said, "Hey, come run some scout team running back," and he was killing guys. And then they, gave him a shot, and he, Baylor does that type of stuff. So, that's the type of back that Dallas needs. A guy that's just going to maul his way to 4 or 5 yards. And Zeke used to do it, but the problem is, like you said, Zeke's knee was hurt, Joe, and it was messed up. And you could tell it was messed up.
Oh, big time. There was a limp, right? The brace, right? So, yeah. And I've said this to you a couple of times too, Footsdaking. I think he will start the year strong. But will it hold up? I just don't think it's going to hold up. And then you're going to put all the weight on Tony Pollard and whatever the other third back is. So I do want to come out of this draft with the running back, whether it be Haskins is a good one. I like Brian Robinson. I think
Robinson, he's really a nice player. I mention him a lot.
He's good. I mean, he picks up the blitz really well. Damian
just a solid player, yeah.
Is another physical back out of Florida. I like his style. So there's a lot of names, some people like Cook, but I feel like that's kind of a Tony Pollard type.
Yeah, he doesn't fit what we do. Yeah, because
so,
we already have Pollard. I think that Dallas is going to re-sign Pollard. There's no way they're not gonna. The writing's on the wall for his play and how good he is, so they're definitely going to re-sign Pollard.
Yeah, and I think that should be affordable for the Cowboys. I don't think they're going to play this freaking overpay the running back game again. So, and that's another part of it, to protect yourself, in case what if Pollard has a crazy, like blows it out the water, right? And then that number is going to go up, so
yeah,
just grab one of these guys in the fifth round and he'll contribute, you know what I mean? And he'll give you something that you can carry into the playoffs. Because this team, I feel, is still playoff, worthy.
Yeah.
I mean, you just got to add some more pieces in here. Like, as crazy as the offseason was, Foots, when you take a step back, they've done what they always do, right? They have the placeholders. Now it's the draft, to fill those holes. So,
yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you, James Washington and Fowler, they're not going to ring a bunch of bells. Fowler will have a good year with Dan Quinn. It just screams Fowler having a good year with Dan Quinn.
Yeah,
this team has shown you that they will get right now production out of their draft picks. So it's just about where they go, Joe.
Yeah,
it's just about where they go.
No, I agree. I think that he'll get something good out of Fowler here with the culture here that people want to. I think Micah Parsons, the lion that he is, he's going to hold people accountable, and we haven't had that on defense for a while, right? I think Micah's going to demand, hey, dude, step up, right? So I'm pumped, bro.
It's definitely his team. They're going to move it to being his team.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, no doubt. Foots, this is a great question here or a comment, and I think this will segue into our next conversation here, and then after, and we'll hit up the super chat here in a second. But Guy Pelham, can you talk about Travis Jones? And what I want to talk about, let's talk about Travis Jones, but let's also talk about, yeah, are these guys going to throw another body at the DT position, no, defensive tackle position for?
I don't see it as a glaring need, and Dallas has shown you early they won't touch that position. Cowboys fans may want it, but I think that the way that they develop the guys that they have in the building, Joe, I don't see them saying, they have Osa, they have Neville. I feel like they can sleep at night with those guys, Joe. I know Cowboys fans want, the Georgia D tackle, but it's just, I don't know if, Joe, I don't know. I don't see that being I don't see that being a need to where this team has so many other holes, glaring holes, that I just, I don't know, Joe. I don't see that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I love Travis Jones. I really do. I thought he had an outstanding Senior Bowl. The guy that really, I've seen him, mocked at the back half of the first round in some mock drafts. You have Devontae Wyatt, right? Jordan Davis, all could do really good for this team, but like you said, for the Cowboys, they just don't hold that position in high regard.
And I'll say this: as high as everybody is on Jordan Davis, I have my reserves for him. I actually like Jones. I won't say better, but I can see where he could end up being a better pro than Davis. And I just get leery of these guys who just test really well. Like, I like Jordan Davis, but there were times where I wanted him to dominate more in games, and I just didn't see it. I like his teammate better. I like Wyatt better.
There we go.
Yeah. And so it's just one of those things to me, Joe, that people may not agree with that because Jordan Davis ran that fast 40, but who was that guy from Memphis that ran a crazy 40? He's out the league now.
John Terry Poe.
Yeah, so I mean, people were going crazy about Poe, but
yeah, and we've said this too. For it's like this is a real landmine type of draft.
Oh yeah,
where it could be very busty.
I love that word, Joe.
Throughout, right? So it's gonna be interesting. But yeah, man, Guy Pelham, I would love Travis Jones. I think he's hard to move, gets after it, gets in the scrum, makes plays, right? So good player. But the Cowboys, I would be shocked if they take one early. You're probably looking more at they take one later. It would be more like maybe like a John Ridgeway out of Arkansas type of guy, maybe 4th round, somewhere 5th round, maybe. Somebody like that. But I don't think they'll use a day 1 or 2 on a defensive tackle myself,
Yeah.
Maybe they'll shock us, bro. Maybe that'll be one that's shocking. I would love that. Tavis, good to see you in the chat box, bro. Noah Ellis. Yeah, that's another name to keep an eye on there. That's another one there to keep an eye on. Let me get to the super chat here because this is a good question. I think it's a perfect one for you, Fuzz. I know you like this player. Soto Man. What do you guys think about Troy Anderson, a possible two-way player? Appreciate the super chat, Soto Man. I'm gonna hand this off straight to Fuzz because I know he's a big fan of Troy Anderson.
Two-way player, no. Draftable player for Dallas, yes. Can run, really good athlete. But I mean, all these guys in the league are good athletes. So he hasn't played running back, and it's one thing to dominate in Montana State, but it's a big difference when you got that pressure from SEC athletes bearing down on you. It's just he's not a running back for a reason. But I like Troy Anderson a lot. If Dallas drafted him, I would be happy.
Yeah. Troy Anderson, linebacker. I'm all for adding another linebacker here too. But it's like, where would they do it? What do you like about, let's say, a 30 visit of the Cowboys, Brian Asamoah out of Oklahoma versus let's say it's him in the second round, or you know, like a Nick Bonito, who's a linebacker but more of a pass rusher type of guy. Like, if you had your choice, which of those two would you like more, Foots, and why?
Easily Nick Benito. I don't have a third round grade. I have a third round grade on Asamoah. I didn't like him as much as everybody else. I see the burst and all that, but I just didn't see the instincts of a guy like him, but a Benito. Benito, I love Nick Benito. I like how much he can do on the football field. He can play some off ball. He gets to the quarterback. They move him all around. There's times where he's in a full drop, getting to his third. But Benito's really good, Joe. So he's one of the guys that I really, really like. Asamoah, I wouldn't be mad at, but I'm good. Like Nick Benito is a poor man's Micah. Nick Benito's a poor man's Micah for sure, and so is Devin Lloyd. Two guys that are poor man's Micah. They're not as athletic, but they kind of do that same. They can like kind of do a little bit of everything. Devin Lloyd obviously being a better player. Rated higher.
No, that's a good take on those two, Devin Lloyd and Benito. Very interesting to see Benito not a 30 visit, but this would, I mean, the Cowboys, they just are, some of these programs, that they don't necessarily need to have a 30 visit because they just know the program so well, right? Like Oklahoma. It seems like we're always grabbing players from Oklahoma. So Benito could very well be on their radar. You know what I mean? And like you said, the traits that he has, gives you, linebacker, but maybe more like a tweener type, but getting after the quarterback. You can never have enough of these, sack master type of guys. It's all about getting pressure on the quarterback. So give me that guy.
Yeah.
Quay Walker. That's another one. I sometimes I forget about Quay. Where is Quay more of a projection for you, because he was more of a rotational guy and didn't have really the high production numbers, say like sacks and high tackle numbers. Like, is that a little bit of a risky pick, or is it more of you're projecting him to be like an outstanding linebacker, kind of like what they're doing with Trevon Walker, right?
I would just that's crazy. I was about to say both the Walkers, Trey and Quay, they're both guys that are just like, I haven't seen the production. I know Trevon Walker. I didn't know he was going to fly boards. It's crazy. When we started the process, Trevon Walker was mocked to Dallas a lot.
Right. Exactly. Right.
He kills the combine. It's like, well, he ain't getting down. So I think both players, I would not draft Quay Walker in the first round. Me personally, I just didn't see enough of the instincts.
Yeah.
Him being an off-ball guy. But, I like Quay, Joe, but it's a projection. Yes. Yeah, Kobe Dean is the sure thing, but the question with the Kobe Dean is how much of that is him being affected by his teammates versus how good is he really in the size metric.
I think Dean just hurt himself by not participating at the combine or
in
pro
anything.
day.
Yeah.
Right. The size I'm fine with, because you have guys at that size that are making players. Nick Bolton, most recent one, balling out for Kansas City. And there's been a history of these types of guys. Zach Thomas, there's a long list of these 5'11" guys, right? So, but yeah, I think he lost millions of dollars by not participating. And is that a red flag? Like, is he hiding an injury? You know what I mean? Is there a knee? Is there a shoulder? Like, what is going on there?
Yeah, totally. That's the part that, like you said, Joe, is going to be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, great conversation in the chat box. If anybody's got some questions for us, we'll close it out with a couple questions. If you got some in the chat box for Foots and I, let me scroll through.
Joe, and I'll say this while we wait on questions to load. This draft cycle, by far, has been the hardest to mock.
Yeah, I agree, man. I'm working on my official mock of this year, and it's like oh, I want this guy, but maybe I need this guy.
I know.
So yeah, it's like, and do I have to take this guy around early because he's probably not going to make it to this round? You know what I mean? And it is, bro. It is one of the hardest ones.
It's been
Here's
harder,
another one.
Joe.
Yeah, Josh Pascal Foots out of Kentucky. You have you watched enough of him, or do you like
Yeah,
him?
no, I watched the player. DN,
Yeah. What's your thoughts on Pascal?
slightly undersized, great motor, third round for me. What do you have him at, Joe?
I have him as a fourth, but I think I maybe a
Fourth,
third.
third. We're in the
Yeah,
same area. Um, I, with Pascal, they like that program, so I'll
yeah.
just say that.
Oh yeah, yeah. They
I'll
like
say
that
that.
program. I think that's an interesting name to keep an eye on because that, like we said, that's one of the names that you're not hearing a lot of conversation. A lot of the other names are getting a lot more. Oh, you see the same names in the mock draft.
Mm-hmm.
Cowboys, it's gonna be somebody else. So like the mocks that the people keep regurgitating with the same guy. Go look elsewhere. I think Josh Pascal is a prime example of that. Josh Pascal, Michael Clemens out of A&M. I think it's another one to keep on, but his injuries scare the crap out of me. I think
Yeah,
this is going to be a guy that you're going to be like, is he going to play this week? Could he be a bust like who was a Oklahoma guy that we took and he was always hurt?
Oh, what was his name?
You remember the guy? Is he that? So yeah, that kind of
Always
scares.
hurt.
Yeah, but yeah, that's a good one there. Although the Apache, I like that name there. Well, I'm a big fan of of that movie. Somebody had a good question here, man. I saw it. Oh, there's another one. Oh, here's a good one. We'll hit this. Army Mom Heather C. Good to see you in the chat box, Army Mom Heather. Running back round 3, guys. Brees Hall. Would he be there in the third round?
You can't draft the running back in the third round, Mom. Hey, Army Mom, Heather, what's going on? You're not drafting a running back in the third round. You have too many needs. So
Now that would be
shortly.
one of those shocker moments. Like, dang, we got third round, dude. Like, because while I would be kind of like, damn, we need other stuff. I could understand where they're going with that if they did something in the third early like that with a Kenneth Walker or Brees Hall. Those would be the two guys I would even dare think about taking early, right? But I don't know that Kenneth Walker or Brees Hall make it to the third. I'm hearing like second round for those guys, but they could be there. Would the Cowboys take them? Probably not, but that sure would be one of those.
Joe, go to whoever say you only have 2 holes. Let's talk to Jose Christian. You only have 2 holes. Okay, well, Jose, hold on. You need pass rusher. I can make an argument that in a year, I would look at corner more of a hole than running back because you have to value the position. You say you only have 2 holes. Well, Jose, what about tackle coming up here in the near future? Joe just told you he spent an hour telling you, not an hour, but he spent a lot of time. He spent a lot of time of his life telling you that Tyron Smith is going to lay down. And whenever he does or he has a bad game, people act surprised. Guard. That's 3 holes that I've already spoken on so far. Linebacker, because while we like Jabril Cox, we don't really know what he's going to be. And he's already had a season-ending injury. Oh, by the way, we spent time talking about the neck with Leighton Vander Esch. So linebacker's a need that I would look at more than running back. And we spoke on guard. Hey, center, do you like Biotis getting walked back into your quarterback's lap every game? I sure as hell don't. So the point is, if you have Brees Hall or Cole Strange, you're probably going to go Cole Strange. You get what I'm saying to you? If you have Brees Hall or Nick Benito, you probably need to go Nick Benito. Like, I love running back. I'm not touching one before the 4th round. So that's my point, Jose, and I'm not trying to attack you, but you have needs. Cox, listen, Jose, Cox is not about him being a hole, but we also don't know how can he make it through a whole season.
That's true, and he had an ACL, I think, in high school too. So we need to remember that. So Is this going to be one of those?
Good wide receiver, like Soda Man said. Good
Yeah.
wide receiver is huge.
I like this. I like this comment here first. Let me see if I can get this to pop up. Tavis Banks, Kyron Johnson out of Kansas. I watched this guy, and he's interesting. He gives me Benito vibes because he's a linebacker, but he gives you that high motor and can get to the quarterback and bring pressure. So I think if you want a Nick Benito light a little bit later, Kyron Johnson out of Kansas would be a nice little ad there. So I like him. Have you checked them out yet?
Yeah, Kyron Johnson can play and very Nick Benito-esque, can do a lot of things. So edge guy makes a lot of sense. It's just, you got to hit on those first 3 rounds. You got to hit on those guys.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Kyron Johnson, I'm looking more of as a day 3 for me. It's a 6-foot linebacker, so he's more of a guy I think that would fit in really good with Dan Quinn because he likes these high motor guys that they're just nonstop trying to get after the quarterback. So that's a good one, Tavis. I like that one there. Got another super chat here. True Believer. What do you think about Logan Hall? This is a great question, Foots. At a U of H, he was actually the 30th visit. We were sitting at 29 for a very long time, and we're waiting for who's the 30th? Who's the 30th guy? We find out it's Logan Hall. The 6'6", 6'7", behemoth out of Houston. What's your take on Logan Hall, Foots? Is he one of these tweener DNs for you? Would you want to draft this guy?
Plays the run well. Great hands. What do you think about him on getting on the edge, Joe? Do you think he has that ability? The bend ability.
I'll be honest. I am terrified of Houston players. I think
There you go, Joe.
A lot of these guys bust out. And I'm not saying Logan Hall will be that. Broadus always says don't judge the helmet, right? But man, dude, Houston busts out so much. I think the last good player I liked out of there was the DT that went to Buffalo, right?
Yeah.
And that was high. That guy went 8 overall or some crap like that. So Logan Hall, I don't know, man. 2nd round for me at the earliest. Yeah.
And I can see him falling to the 3rd.
Yeah, he could be there. It's because there's other teams that probably think like a lot of other people, hey, that program puts out some players that bust out. So, it's just the conference play that scares me, man. U of H plays in what is it? The Conference USA, right?
I love the Conference USA, yeah.
Conference USA, and I think maybe they moved to something else here recently. I forgot what it is, but yeah, I don't know. The level of competition for U of H, that's a legitimate. U of H almost is like a small school, but they're not a small school. But the conference is almost like a small school conference, right? So I don't know, man. Cowboys evidently like him. 2nd round for me, though.
Yeah,
and that's who else is there, bro? Because I could think of a whole lot of other names that I probably would prefer, over Logan Hall at 56, because that's where I would take him.
Yeah.
Myself. But appreciate the super chat, True Believer. Great question, man. Here we go. Clark Kent, another super chat. Chad Muma out of Wyoming in the 3rd or 4th round, guys.
Won't make it.
Yeah, I think 2nd is probably the opening round for me for Muma. 4th round, that would be crazy if he lasted that long, but seen weirder things before.
Yeah, he definitely he won't make it at all to the 3rd.
He's solid, bro. That's he's like Logan Wilson, right? Another guy.
Yeah, Logan Wilson had a really good Super Bowl. Yeah,
really good, bro. Those guys, they're coached up well there, man. Whoever their linebacker coach is, I wouldn't mind bringing him here. All right. So let me see. Did we miss any other super chats, or did we get them all?
I think we had them all, Joe. It's been a great show.
Yeah, I think we had a great one tonight, Foots. We'll leave it there. Great discussion, great questions from the chat box as far as like, who are some of these guys that you guys want to know a little bit more about in our opinion. So we appreciate you guys checking out our channel and valuing, our opinion on this because, like Foot said, we've been doing this for a while now. I think we have a pretty good reputation here on YouTube to, give it to you straight, like what are some of the picks? What are some of the surprise picks? And
it was a good show, Joe. This made me think outside the box.
Oh, absolutely, man. Hopefully it does that for everybody out there too. So we'll definitely be following up here. Foots and I we're busy with our channels, and maybe the next time you see us might be maybe post first round, or definitely we'll get together post draft for sure. We'll do a post draft show for sure for you guys. But Foots, let everybody know where they can find you if they haven't already, bro.
Yeah, and we'll be texting and talking, Joe. That's what we do. I'll say this, guys, and I wasn't trying to attack your chat, Joe, but I want you guys to understand something. This team is going to hit on the true needs. They may say BPA, but it's going to be BPA with what they need and how they rank it, right? Yeah. And so what I'm saying is, let's say, for example, this probably wouldn't happen. Let's say it's Chris Olave and Kenyon Green. They're drafting Kenyon Green. I'm 80% sure of that.
80% is pretty good, right?
But I guess the point is
yeah,
guys, don't get attached to any player because me and Joe have made that mistake in the past. And
we will say, if we missed on something or if we didn't, like nobody's perfect, bro. And it's all about getting a lot of the names out, right? Especially for people that aren't knee deep in it, like some of us are. So thank you for you guys for checking everything out here, man.
Follow me on Cowboys Nation TV and at Footsdaking, guys. Thank you so much.
That's my guy, DB Guru, Footsdaking. We did talk safety, so that's something we'll hit that up. We'll hit that up next time, Foots, and we'll hit that up because these guys. So that's it for tonight, guys. We appreciate you guys checking us out tonight. Cowboys Huddle Remix Redux. Peace out, everybody. Thank you so much.
Peace.